And all eyes continue to be on social media when it comes to protecting the mental health of children. According to a report from the Boys and Girls Club, more than 80% of kids have suffered online harassment. Here with us now is Kylie McGrath, counselor with Thrive Works in Royal Oak. Thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you.
So we know that so many kids are on social media, Kylie. What kind of effect does that have on them?
They're constantly on, so there's never a shut-off point for them, and it drives them to feel like they have to be engaged at all times. They never get to take a break and relax, and they just don't have the ability to cut that off like we do as adults. And we know that even as adults, we have a hard time doing that.
Right, and before, when it came to television, there were different ways to kind of safeguard what your kids watch. With the internet, there's just so much there and very little regulation. What kind of impact could that have, depending on what they're seeing?
Yeah, I think it's ever changing too, so parents have a really hard time with keeping up with what the kids are using and what the new app is for that time and how it's used, and it's different than how we use it as adults. And so, yeah, they're seeing things that they shouldn't be seeing or not are developmentally ready to be seeing, and they don't know how to cut that off for themselves at that point.
What are some of the signs that it's having a negative impact on someone?
So I think we can look at social isolation in general, any shifts in behaviors, whether that might be lower mood, not going out and doing the activities that they used to be doing, staying inside more often. School, academic performance might be an issue as well.
Would you say that it's pretty common for people to not realize that it's having a negative effect on them? You scroll so much you don't even realize what it's doing to you.
Yes, very much so, I would say.
Okay, and when you see that there is an issue, sometimes it's hard for parents to have that conversation with their kids that maybe we need to try to fix this here. How do you even start that process?
It starts with open dialogue and just assuring the kid that they're not wrong. They're doing everything that any other kid is doing in that moment, and we all struggle with it. And so I want to have that open dialogue with them, connect with them and say, like, I have that same struggle. How can we look at the boundaries that we're setting in this house and how that can impact all of us as a whole, and really do it with them?
It's a very useful tool, but it also can be very dangerous. I've seen situations sometimes where a younger person will go viral for something that's not good,
Yes.
and then all of the comments can be very brutal. What kind of impact can that have?
Oh, it definitely triggers anxiety, depression, self-confidence, self-esteem, how we view ourselves in the future. It impacts all of that.
Yeah, and in terms of just seeking help and also just putting the phone down, any ideas for that? Because, for a lot of kids, it's like, well, everybody else is on their phone, so why can't I?
Oh, it's extremely hard to set those boundaries when everybody else is constantly sharing videos and everything. But I think acknowledging that openness of communication with parents or other trusted adults in their life is a huge impact on that. Not having somebody, parents that are watching, educators that are watching, we want to ensure that the kids are talking to themselves in a positive way. So what is that dialogue that they're repeating back to themselves, and making sure that they're not seeing social media as the only view of the world, and they're actually having positive conversations with themselves.
And what about the big kids? I'm referring to the adults who are on Facebook arguing about politics and anything else. How can they put their phones down?
We talk about them having those screen limits, and I know we've all tried to use that, but we need to be very diligent about that and really take stock in, like, what else am I doing in my evening? There's a lot of other things that we can be doing to occupy our time. Social media is only a very small part of that, or should be, hopefully, but anytime you feel any significant shift in your own mindset and anxiety increasing, low moods, all of those things, we need to take a look at all the patterns and habits that we're creating.
And you know when to stop.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Great insight. We appreciate that so much.
Thank you.